In this presentation, I'm going to show you how the SentryBay armor client for Citrix protects against screen scraping and keylogging attacks. On my attacker's machine, I've got a handler running and waiting for someone to click one of my payloads that I've distributed. So on the right, my user is innocently going to launch an executable that they think is actually something else. In the real world, I'd wrap this up and also make this persistent so it just runs automatically in the background. And as you can see, what's actually happening is it's actually creating a VNC background session. So now on my attacker's machine, I can actually see and in effect record everything that's going on. So as my user uses their applications and views documents on their Windows 7 machine, I can see that on the left. And the machine's compromised. If I was using Citrix, obviously my attacker is seeing what the user's seeing, and when I launch my sessions, they're going to be able to see all the data that I'm viewing, anything I'm typing, and also get some intelligence as I open up files and file shares and from internal resources as well. Let me exit Citrix. And now let's see what happens. Obviously the machine's still compromised, and now if my organisation were to enforce the use of the SentryBay armor client, when the armor client's launched, because I've been running Citrix processes outside of the armor client, they still run in the background, so it's just asking me to terminate those. Now, even though the underlying machine has been compromised and is being actively screen scraped, when the secure workspace session is in focus on the compromised machine, nothing can be seen. So if I log on to my Citrix now within the armor client and launch my Citrix session, we'll see that nothing has been viewed from my secure session. So if I, just to prove, if I go back to my underlying desktop session, okay, so now whatever is happening on the screen is actually being reflected on my attacker's machine via the VNC session. But as soon as I go back to my armor client session, we'll see that nothing is being viewed by my attacker's machine. So that concludes the screen scraping demonstration. But just to reiterate that although we used the VNC attack for this part of the demonstration, RDP and any other remoting protocol also will not be able to see or screen scrape the armor client when it's actually in focus on the machine. So to move on to the next part of the demonstration, I'm going to demonstrate the protections the armor client provides for keylogging. So again, we've got our attacker machine on the left and a victim machine on the right. I've already got a session opened on my attacker machine. The users click something they shouldn't, and it's opened up a Meterpreter session. So Meterpreter is an in-memory tool. It's like a Swiss Army knife for hackers, and it has various inbuilt tools, one of which is a keylogger. So if I just start the keylogger, so from this point onwards, everything I type in the victim machine is being logged. And at any point I can actually see and dump the contents of the buffer to my screen. Okay, so the keylogger is still running. Let's see what happens when we're using the armor client. So there are two things in the armor client. One is the browser, which is obviously protected, and that's what we use to log on to the NetScaler gateway. And then the second is when we actually got a Citrix session launched, and both are protected. So let's log on. And just before I log on, I'll just go back to my attacker machine and see if we captured any keystrokes. And as you can see, the buffer's empty, there's nothing in there. So let's complete the logon process, and then we'll launch a Citrix session. Okay, we're now logged into the virtual desktop, and let's type something in Notepad, and let's just go back to our attacker machine and dump the key scan buffer. And as you can see, we're not capturing keystrokes there. So there are many forms of keylogger: in memory, remote run, locally run. The Armor client protects from them all. There's no way that they can break into the secure workspace, just like the screen scrapers. So that concludes the demonstration. Thank you.